Hey guys, welcome back to Many Tribes, One Kingdom. It's your good friend Dustin here. As always, I'm with my good co-host.
Hey, it's John.
I was going to go first.
And we got two special guests this week. Started off with who John brought.
Hello. Why am I raising my hand?
I don't know. You know her. You know her. You love her, just not as much as I do. This is my almost wife, Destiny.
Hello.
The future Mrs. Cox.
Yep.
All right, and our other special guest is.
It's me. It's Caleb. I'm here.
Oh,
Again.
wow. I think I should let you guys know. I don't know if John and Destiny noticed, but your name's actually on the Zoom call, so they already know who you are. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We have a special video for you, so stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. Today we are going to do a Youth Council's recap video. Now, I know we did a pre-Youth Council's anticipation video where we talked about what we were expecting from the weekend, but now we get to tell you what actually happened from the weekend. We're going to tell you all the highlights, all the dislikes, all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then Caleb singing.
Hey, Caleb's singing was beautiful.
No, listen.
I had to put it in its own category.
I woke up this morning and my throat was feeling the effects of the whole weekend, and I'm like, no, my voice is it's still a little raspy, but it's getting better.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh, no,
So we're actually going to start off with our first year Youth Council's goer, Destiny.
Yeah.
Hello.
So Destiny, what was one highlight or one or two highlights you had from the weekend?
I mean, the highlights for me were probably the sessions that we all did.
Okay. What was it about the sessions that you liked?
I just liked that everybody was involved and that it just sounded like everybody was having a good time
Okay.
and stuff.
Caleb, what are two highlights you had from the weekend? And no, it cannot be you singing on stage.
No, it wasn't going to.
I know, I'm just messing with you.
Honestly, definitely the day at Busch Gardens. It was actually kind of fun. A lot of walking, but it was an adventure. I would say the second thing, just me being able to worship along other Salvationists and other believers. It's always one of those things that I'm always looking forward to at any divisional or territorial thing.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. John, what are a couple highlights you have from the weekend?
So, obviously the sessions were great. Tommy is an amazing speaker, and his message really stuck with me. And we'll talk about the message in detail probably here in a few minutes, but I do want to say that his message really stuck with me. And the other highlight...
being with his fiance.
Actually, it does involve Des. I'm going to embarrass you here a little bit. So while we were at Busch Gardens, and I actually owe Dustin for this because he helped me get it, I found a gift for Des, and just her reaction when I gave it to her. I found her, Des loves birds, so I found her a stuffed flamingo. And just her reaction when she got it, that just made my day.
It's cute.
I really wish you would have recorded that because I could have added that to this video.
Yeah, it was while we were sitting in the theater, though. I was going to wait to give it to her in the van. I was actually thinking about recording it, but she was tired and she needed to pick me up. So I was just like, I'm just going to give her the gift now. And she's She hasn't let it out of her sight since then. Well, her metaphorical sight, obviously. Um,
Oh gosh.
what about you, Dustin? What would you say are two of your highlights of the weekend?
Well, I always love coming together as a one church. It always reminds me that we're fighting the same battle. And even though with all the hype of the weekend, all the good stuff that we did, having those sessions like Destiny mentioned earlier is just something different when you have the church together. Because this is a hard fight, and everybody hearing that same message says, "Okay, we're all in the same fight, and we all got to fight the same." I got to write that down. My other one would be Busch Gardens, riding the teacups with John and Destiny and our one of their cohorts, Peyton from their church. I did film the reaction, and so thankfully you guys will be able to see that at the end of this video. Of us riding the teacups and me almost losing my phone to the teacups, and the three of them spinning me almost out of there, and I'm a big guy, so me almost flying out of there kind of. Anyways, I digress.
Most of the work.
Yeah, you were doing most of it.
Pipe down there. Although I will say I'm excited that I got 20,000 steps that day.
Yeah, I left my phone in the van, so I didn't actually get to count my steps. That was some good chicken that night, though. Sorry.
Look, that brisket was killing it. All right, so Caleb, what were some? I won't call them dislikes. I know I said that earlier, but what are a couple of things that could have been improved upon this weekend, or from this past weekend?
Okay, this was like the biggest issue I had. The room situation, like the main, like the sessions and everything were all in the DoubleTree Hotel, but like some of us had to drive to like the
Kings
resort,
Mills.
The Kings Mill houses and everything. And what frustrated, I didn't have a problem with that at all. Like having to drive, I didn't really have a problem with it, but it was the fact that me specifically, I had to wait until like almost 3:00 to get into my room.
Oh.
Because when we went to go get the keys, they said that, we only have 2 rooms ready. We're working on the other ones. Now, the thing is, what irritated me was I woke up Friday morning at like 5:00, and we left the core a little after 5. So from 5, so for almost 12 hours, I was just wearing like the same clothes for a long period of time. And I'm just like, I'm not really going to be wearing this to the session. Like, I want to take a shower. I want to like clean all this like stench off of me. Like, I want to look good. I want to like change my clothes. And I'm just like, I need to take a shower, or else I'm just like, I was having to like take my cologne and just like spray a little bit on me, because I'm just like, I'm sweating. I'm gonna stink. Let me like at least freshen up a bit. But that was like the biggest issue I had, is that we had to wait for them to like get the rooms ready, and it's like, you have all these people coming. Like I don't want to bash the workers. I don't want to bash the employees, but like, you have a big group of people coming. Like, at least have some of the rooms ready.
Yeah. That was weird.
Oh yeah. Destiny, what was one thing that could have improved upon from this past weekend?
Well, I kind of wish that they would have explained better the itinerary or what we were supposed to do that weekend, because we were just all over the place, and I wish it could have been done in order. I liked the tasks that we were supposed to do, but I didn't like the scanning the barcodes or the walking from this side of the freaking country to the other.
That's
all over the place. I just wish it would have been a little more organized, and I wish I would have been able to ride more rides.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I didn't do the scavenger hunt. I'm like, because you guys know me and like the situation I've been having with my foot recently over the past couple of years. It's just like that's way too much walking. But like, again, it would have been fun if it had been like you didn't have to walk from like one part, then like the next section's like a 10-15 minute walk away, and it's like but I just gave up after the first one, and I'm like, I'm gonna just chill. I'm gonna just walk around. And
that kind of leads into mine.
All right, John, what was one thing that they could have improved upon from this past weekend?
So I agree with Des. It was the Busch Gardens trip. And the reason I say that, I loved the idea behind it. I just think the execution could have been a little bit better. I loved the idea of using the time at Busch Gardens as an opportunity to share the gospel and giving us different tasks. You know, pray with a family, sing a worship song while on a ride, stuff like that. That was great ideas. But like Des said, the going from one spot, having to scan the QR code, and then sometimes the task would be on the other side of the park. You had to walk all the way across, and it just was a lot, especially for people like me and Des. We don't move as fast as a lot of other people.
Yeah, like we're blind. Not to compare ourselves to anyone else, but like...
No, but I kind of think, just to give some constructive criticism here, I think what would have worked better is if we had been just given a list of like, you know, do this stuff while you're in Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
You know, all the things on the list I loved. I was like, you know, great. We get opportunities here to share the gospel, and that's great. And I was really happy to hear the stories about the people who did get that chance.
And like, I feel like we could have used, like, we had several people in a group, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, why couldn't we have just done this stuff while we were there and had maybe the people in our group that knew kind of where they were going to get it done? Then other ones could have done other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
You know, it could have gone a lot faster, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's really my biggest complaint is that I think it was a great idea. I think it could have been executed a little bit better, and I think if it's done again in the future, I would hope that the execution would be done just a little more organized.
Yeah.
I love the idea, though, so if anyone from DHQ is watching this, please do it again. I just ask that, you know, take these suggestions.
They're gonna watch this. You don't know how many times like we post a video and Captain Nicole is just like, "Oh, I watched the video."
No, we loved it. We loved the trip. We loved the ideas and everything. It was just a hard execution for people like me and Des, and you know, there were people in our group. Weren't there people?
Wheelchairs,
Yeah, there was someone in our group in a wheelchair, wasn't there?
Yeah, me and Cindy.
So that's just my biggest thing. You know, great idea, not the best execution. So I would say that's my biggest complaint. Well, that and the lack of coffee at the hotel, but that's not really the division's fault. That's not really anything I can.
Yeah.
There was coffee, just not enough. Well, not enough without having to pay an arm and a leg for it.
Yeah.
So my one thing that it really can't be really improved upon. I think that was just me just being nitpicky. Just having to be at another hotel. I was in Kings Mills and having to drive all the way down to Doubletree. You know, both times I went back to my room, I got lost because I couldn't figure out what the turns were, and so it just made it for a very tiresome time for me driving, especially coming back from it's called Kings Dominion, Busch Gardens, and you know, it didn't mesh well because my pastors were staying over in the Doubletree and I stayed in Kings Mill, so it couldn't. And again, there's only much that could have been done with that. It's just more of just a personal thing that just happened that last weekend. And I really enjoyed everything else. And I do also agree with John and Destiny that the scavenger hunt. And I know this is our first time doing this, and hopefully we do it another time. And so hopefully they saw where the problems were, and so, well, not the problems, where the issues were starting. Because one thing I did notice is that a lot of the teens and other young adults were just growing very tired of having to do this. It's not really something that they wanted to do. And I get that. And I also get that DHQ wants to encourage them to be, disciples and disciple makers and evangelists. And so this was a great opportunity to evangelize. It just felt like it could have been better explained. But I think also smaller groups probably would have worked better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With their officers or with their pastors, instead of having pastors from another church being in there, because some of them didn't have their pastors there, or some of them didn't have their because their pastors were off on an assignment, because there was people who were holding the QR codes, and a lot of them were officers, so someone had missed out on that opportunity to be in ministry with their officers, so they get to figure out, okay, this is where you went wrong, this is how you could do it right next time.
Yeah.
And so, and always, and you know what I always say is, whenever we do like evangelism in the real world, it's never usually like with a group of 30 people in the same area talking to the same person. It's usually, if it's 30 people, it's all spread out in a very large area.
Yeah.
And so I think that
so
probably.
I
Go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm finished.
I was just gonna ask, like, outside of the scavenger hunt, like, what was something at Busch Gardens that, like, you guys actually enjoyed, like food, rides, like what? Like what? Yeah.
We went to a barbecue. We went to a barbecue place, all right, or a smoked barbecue, and I got the brisket, and my gosh, it was so good. And I had to say this, it was better than Captain Dennis's barbecue.
Listen,
don't let him hear you.
So
Caleb, it looks like I have to learn how to video edit because Dustin might disappear.
So
Very quickly.
So again, like, me and some of my other friends, we kind of just like had our own group and we went around, and there was a time we were just sitting there, and it was like really just trying to figure out like what to eat and everything. And God bless this woman, because I love her so much for this. But Danielle Delaney came over to our table with like a plate of ribs, some fries, and like some rolls, and she's like, here, this is like the food, like this is all the food we didn't eat, like you guys are welcome to have it. And it's like, all right. And me, normally I don't eat ribs because I don't really like barbecue sauce, but the barbecue sauce that this place had was just like on a totally different level. Like, it just, something about it was just like delicious. And I'm devouring these ribs, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I was gonna go back and like get something from there, but we ended up just getting like Italian food from Marco Polo.
Yeah.
And it was like, the food was good, just the marinara sauce was cold.
You preferred the smokehouse?
I did, but
yeah, that's where we
like we had food vouchers, so like free food's free food. I could have gotten it from
yeah,
but we all just chose like Italian because it was like the closest thing to us. So it was good. I got the chicken parmesan, so it was good. Just cold
parmesan soon.
Just the cold marinara sauce and the spaghetti was just not it.
So for me at least, the highlight of the day for me, besides giving Des her present and besides the session, was myself, Destiny, and one of the kids from our church, Peyton. We got on a ride together, and it was just a really good experience. It was really funny because Des had to take her shoes off before we got on and had to put them in like one of those boxes because her shoes are slip-ons.
Yeah.
So she's terrified because the ride was one of those swings that goes back and forth, and it shoots you out over the water. So she was terrified that her shoes were going to come flying off, especially because we were sitting in the front of the ride.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm sure the picture of me looks really stupid because I've got my eyes closed really tight before the ride starts because the sun was beating right in my eyes. And I'm like, oh, this freaking hurts. So I sit there, got my eyes closed really tight. And I'm like, man, I bet I look stupid right now. But it was a fun experience. And, you know, it was fun to have that time with them. And the other thing, and I got to brag a little bit, just seeing how much Peyton's grown. You know, she was one of my students back as a Sunday school teacher, and she's become a very strong young woman of God, and I'm just very proud of her. So
man, I saw the pictures of her, like the 7:30 breakfast, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, Peyton.
And the Spirit just gave me a message for her on Saturday night. So we were praying as a group, and just having that time to pray over her was just a blessing for my life. So I have to say that was a really big point for me.
John's gonna make me cry.
John's gonna make himself cry.
No, okay. But so I want to know if like anybody actually did this. But I know that like one of the things for the scavenger hunt was like you had to sing a worship song on a roller coaster. I want to know if anybody actually did that, because if you did, congratulations. You were like, you're like a champion, because me personally, I probably wouldn't even be able to do that.
We misunderstood the instructions.
Yeah, we didn't even hear all the stuff we were supposed to do.
Yeah, so unfortunately, they didn't like read all or listen to the video all the way through. They said, "Oh yeah, we're supposed to sing a worship song," forgetting the part about we're supposed to sing that on a roller coaster.
Yeah. So we just all stood there in the park and sang it on video, and I'm just like,
see, that's why we should have been split up into
smaller groups so that everybody could have heard the video, they should have just given us lists like before we got there so that everybody would have understood the instructions. Because I'm sitting there, I'm drumming on the ground with my cane while we're singing "This Is the Day."
Dun, dun, dun.
I heard you guys singing that too, and I'm just like, man, they taking it way back to like Sunday school time.
Sunday school.
Right.
All right. So we had what, 4 sessions or 3 sessions? Yeah, we have 4 sessions, 3 with Tommy Nixon.
Yeah.
3 with Tommy, and he was our guest speaker, and he was phenomenal. What was your, if you can pick one line, or as Lieutenant Willis always famously say during his sermons, what was his tweetable line?
You go first, Dustin.
I honestly can't remember. I can't remember. I can't. Okay. Listen to me very specifically. I could not remember a specific line, but I remember him carrying that yoke around, and all I can think about was, who am I yoked to? Yeah. Or what am I yoked to? Am I yoked to Jesus, or am I yoked to this world? Am I yoked to the things in my past? Am I yoked to career opportunities? And I'm just like, I need to really think about that. Like, I need to spend some time thinking about it. And I didn't. I'm still spending time thinking about that. Because I believe it's Matthew chapter 10, he says, take upon my yoke.
Matthew 11.
Easy. Matthew 11? Okay. Mm-hmm. He says, take upon my yoke because it's easy and light. And it doesn't come with any strings attached.
Yeah.
So that'll be my tweetable moment from one of his sessions.
So I was trying to find the picture of it was, I know John and Destiny wouldn't be able to see this, but it was this photo.
Oh yes.
Which one?
It was the
where
one,
he was wearing a yoke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was that, because like it is, especially somebody like, I mean, you know, the three of us, you know, like we're doing online classes for college. Dustin's working as a CMA, but like somebody like me, who is working 2 jobs, who is also helping out with music programs on Wednesdays at the church, when I'm available, um, doing college classes and everything, stuff like that. Like, I have a lot of things going on that, when when he talked about like the yoke and everything, and there was like the moment where he kind of like took the thing off of his shoulders and he like sat it on the ground, and it's like, that's what I need to do. I need to like let go of some things and just like focus on like my actual like goals and hopes and everything and stuff like that. So that was really one of the like most powerful like sermons I've ever like witnessed and everything. So it was definitely that one.
So for me, it was the third message that he gave us when he was talking about, speaking with God, like how if we want to be good servants and we want to walk in the way of Christ, we need to speak, but we also need to listen. And that's something that I needed to be reminded. And he also said, don't be afraid to ask God questions. Don't think that God is afraid of your questions.
Yeah.
And I just remember going back later and in my prayer time, just asking God some really serious and straight to the point questions. And I just felt like God was like, finally, John, you're finally opening up. You're finally talking to me like you talk with everybody else. You're finally treating this relationship like a real relationship.
Yeah.
And just the message from that night just stuck with me. And that's not to say the first 2 weren't amazing and phenomenal, and I took something away from both of them. But the third message, and we'll talk about Matt Satterley later, but like let's talk about Tommy right now. Just the third message. Oh, hey Tessa. The third message really just stuck with me.
John, you brought up a really good point, or actually you brought up a really good memory from this past weekend. Somebody came out, I can't remember who they were, but somebody came up and asked me, he said, would he be, talking about you, would he be offended if I asked him a question? I said, let me just tell you this, he'd be more offended if you didn't ask him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, you know what? Just after you saying that made me realize, you know what? That's the same thing for God. I think he'd be more offended if we just assumed and didn't ask, rather than just asking the question. Because the worst answer you're going to get is a no. Like, I'm not going to tell you.
You know what? I never even thought it like that. You can ask Dustin and Caleb. I get so offended when people don't just outright ask me stuff.
Yeah.
But then to realize that I've treated God that way in the past, I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah.
So, Destiny, this was your first youth council, as we mentioned earlier. What was one thing that Tommy said that really stuck out to you? And it doesn't have to be a direct quote or anything, but just something you heard throughout an entire session.
I guess the first night when he talked about the choices and the don't be a slave to religion and all the things like that. And what was it? The straight and narrow.
Don't be a slave to the world. Walk the radical middle. The radical middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like that. He one sermon where his first session, as Destiny was mentioning, he talked about there being 3 paths. The religiosity side, or religiosity path, the ratchet path. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm glad he's bringing in modern terms into this into his sermon, because so many of the young adults and teens need to hear that, because that's what they understand. And Paul did that same thing throughout all of his sermons. He always used what was around him or what was in the culture to make his point. Or you have so go ahead.
He used the lingo of the day.
There you go. Yeah. Or you have the radical middle. And I think that was like a really powerful illustration. And it's like, you know what? That is such a very, very, very good illustration. I can't remember what the scripture verse he was using, but it was talking about the narrow path. And I was like, man, that's powerful.
7.
Sorry?
Matthew 7. You know, can I just brag on Tommy real fast? Because
go ahead. Go ahead.
He'd be offended if he didn't.
I love his messages because I've been to some events where the speaker just goes on and on and on, and they jump from one subject to another subject to another subject, and there's a time and a place for that. But Tommy made it clear from the first night what he was going to be talking about, and each one of his messages connected. Night 1, session 1, I'm going to tell you the 3 paths you can choose from. Session 2, I'm going to tell you how you can walk that second path, or the radical middle. Session 3, I'm going to tell you what it looks like in your relationship if you walk that radical middle path. He connected all 3 of them, and that's just something that I really appreciate because I have a short attention span.
Yeah, I do too, and I will say, there were times where I'd kind of
drift a little,
nod off a little bit, but other than that, it was straight to the point. I pretty much got a lot of the stuff that he said.
And to be fair,
plus Tommy's funny.
Yeah, he is. He's funny.
Yeah,
to be fair, you were also tired, so that's probably why you were nodding off.
Yeah.
Listen.
I have a short attention span as it is. But, that third night I was just kind of like, I want to go to sleep.
So, no, the funny thing is about Tommy was, I had just come back from the bathroom. I just sat down on the floor. And all of a sudden, this dude's talking about circumcisions. And I'm like, wait a minute. What did I just walk into? Because I just got back from the bathroom, and he's like, I know there's young people who won't understand this, but then he tells people go ahead and explain it to them, and I'm watching some of these teenagers faces after hearing it, and I'm just like, this is.
Then he goes further. Then he goes further and tells them to explain castration too. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
remember?
Thank God I didn't have any kids sitting around me that I didn't have to tell them that.
You guys were prepared for it. I wasn't. I just came back from the bathroom and he's talking about circumcisions and castrations.
We
weren't ready for it. We were just as shocked as you were when he said it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this guy talking about? I didn't learn about that until an older teen. What the heck is this? Why do we got to do this? This is the right place.
I think it was from a very young age.
Well, to be fair, the first thought that came into my mind is okay, this violates every single rule of safe from harm there is. We cannot talk about this. That is a parent choice. That is a parent talking to their child. We're not the modern society where we just teach these kids whatever we want to and say the parents have a choice in their education.
That's why I'm glad Peyton was sitting next to her aunt instead of next to me and Des, because I'm like, I don't have to explain this. I'm not doing that.
But you know what? In all seriousness, I know we made a joke out of it. He talked about, he used that as a very powerful illustration about how we are so focused on traditions and culture when we're not focused on the point of everything is Jesus. Mm-hmm. All the reason why they did that, they lost the meaning of it. They did it because they were trying to follow Jesus instead of actually just following him.
You know what I just realized?
What?
We've been on this video for how long and we haven't mentioned the shirts?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got nice hoodies that got Unbound on them. And oddly enough, we did not plan this, but we all managed to pick the same color. Blue.
Actually, they just gave them to us.
No, I picked blue.
They just gave them to me.
Oh.
No one told me what color mine was.
Remember a couple months ago when Priscilla was asking us what our shirt sizes and preferred colors were?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't have green, so you got blue.
Gotcha.
So to cap it all off,
there was blue, gray, and like a light purple color or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a lavender.
Yeah.
So to cap it all off, Major Matt Satterley, he ended off the weekend on a very powerful charge. Mm-hmm. My boy, look, he is every time I've heard him speak, and he ends off TYI and this, he's always led off with a very powerful charge about taking off. His last one was about taking off the chains, what is bounding us, and what we're going back to, and that we need to get away from that stuff, and we need to get back to Christ. Don't focus on the religiosity. Don't focus on the ratchetness of the world. Focus on Jesus. Focus on the middle path.
I just remember, like, another thing that really just stuck with me this weekend was Colonel Hofford. I went up to pray on Friday night, and the Colonel just came up and started praying with me, and I swear this man sounded like he was about to cry.
Yeah.
Like, ask Des, like, when he saw me, he kind of just, like, ran over. I thought he was going to jump over the seats to hug me.
Colonel is like that. Oh my gosh. I love the Colonel because he is just absolutely both him and his wife. They're very spiritually connected, and they're not afraid to engage. They're both extroverts, which for me, I'm an introvert, which most people don't understand. But being an introvert, I wouldn't really want to go over and hug somebody and jump over a table. The fact that he did it just shows that he has a very deep passion for the ministry, but even more so, he has a deep passion for the love of Jesus Christ, which he always talks about, which he always preaches about, which he always acts about. And I think that's the part that we need to look at. It's like, okay, how is he acting? He's acting like Jesus would act. Jesus would jump over the table. He would jump over the chairs. He would, high kick the devil off our shoulder and, give us a big old bear hug. I know I used a colorful illustration, but that's how
Colonel. He's always good for a laugh too, because I always tease him every time I see him. I'm like, "Hey, Colonel, when are you going to give me some of your chicken?"
This man over here talking about that the entire time we were at Busch Gardens. I'm like, bruh, can you leave the man alone about his chicken?
Listen, I got a story of Colonel Hoffer from this weekend that I'm gonna share in a little bit.
Please do.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So, well, the question I have for you guys is, like, what were some? I mean, we probably talked a little bit about them. Like, we probably mentioned some, but like, what were some like funny moments that happened to you or like you witnessed over the weekend?
Oh, wow.
Well, let's see. There was the whole circumcision conversation.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, this past weekend, you guys don't know this, but these guys do. This past weekend, I was I was dressed in a costume, and on the second day, just before the first session, this first session of the day, I had to go back and I had to dress up, and I didn't know what I was dressing up as. So they gave me a hoodie and hand me a mask, and I look at the mask, and it's just a giant eyeball, and I'm like, I was supposed to be watching people, and they said, now you gotta say, watch out to everyone you see. I'm like, okay. And I got Nathan with me and Timothy and I think Diana. I think I said her name right.
Yo, I almost fought you guys. y'all had me cornered. Like all three of you are just like, watch out. And I'm just like, yo, is this like
oh my gosh, all four of us were just standing around Caleb and he looked very, very uncomfortable. And aren't you like holding coffee or something like that?
I was holding some drink, but I'm just like, is this like a gang initiation or something? Like y'all are just standing around me. All I see is like the mask, and it's just like, watch out.
I'm not gonna lie.
Watch out.
If you'd come up to me and done that, I probably would have been like, is that some kind of crack?
We did. Oh wait, we didn't, did we? Or at least I didn't. And on Sunday, we're in full uniform, and so this was already a nightmare for me because I'm dressing up in my uniform, which is already hot enough. In a room full of people that already make it very hot and moist. And now I'm going to be putting on this costume that's very, very hot. And so I got dressed up as an orange. Everybody else is dressed up as other fruit. And we came up with a gang name. You know what that gang name was? Fruit
Fruit of
Salad.
the Loom.
Yummy.
Fruit
Oh,
Salad.
I was thinking Fruit of the Loom.
no.
You know what? A couple people have said that, but I'm like, it didn't really stick. I was like, because there's no cornucopia here. And so, yeah, we had that fun time. We scared people, and I made some really bad puns, like, aren't you glad to see me?
No, I can't see you.
Okay, so here's a full joke. I said, oh, great. Aren't you very glad to see us? So I tried to use all three of us that were in this fruit salad gang, try to make a pun out of it.
Can't see me.
Everybody laughed, but I think it was more like a pity laugh. Like, okay, that was a really bad joke.
Someone should banana y'all for that one.
Actually, there was supposed to be a banana, but she never came back to do
that
it.
was bad. That was bad. That was terrible, bro.
I'll see myself up for that one.
That was terrible.
John, that joke was so bad I can peel it apart.
Oh.
You're right. I better go cannonball into a pool. Okay, I'll shut up.
I better prepare myself.
Oh my. Oh,
well,
my
good thing
gosh.
Des and I are having a wedding because we can't elope. Okay. Well,
All right, you know what, guys? I gotta go water my lawn. So
thanks for sharing that.
Why?
watermelon.
Oh, okay. Oh, I found it. I found the picture.
Which
Oh
picture?
gosh, with Colonel.
No, Dustin as the orange. Oh wait, hold on. It's not
Like
loaded.
it's well, we can't see it because it's kind of like really, really bright.
Oh, okay.
I can put it on video. I have all the pictures.
If
What
you
was
could-
it that was real? What was it
Look.
that was really funny at the?
Look at Dustin as an orange.
So our group and Caleb's group stopped at Golden Corral on the way home, and what was it that was really funny that happened there? Like me and you both started laughing about it. I can't remember what it was.
It was something.
Like we were waiting for the steaks, and then I don't remember what it was though.
I forgot, but like I know it had something to do with Peyton though.
Yeah, it did. I just don't remember what it was.
I don't know. But okay, so that's so for me, some of the funniest moments happened to me, other than getting almost beat up by the eyes, the Watchmen. That's what I'm going to call him, the Watchmen. But another
I
funny
can't believe you said something like that.
Really?
not this again. Not this again. But so it was oh man. It was Friday. It was Friday. I told John this, and I don't know if I told Justin, but I got a compliment that I've never gotten in my life.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I got called a country singer. Okay, I got told that I sounded like a country singer when I was up on stage singing praise. Now, the funny thing is that
Praise.
no, the funny thing is I wasn't supposed to lead that song. It was supposed to be David and Will, but Will wasn't there for the rehearsal. So, like we ran over it, and then David's just like, you know what? Who wants to take the first verse? And so I kind of volunteered. Didn't know like I just thought it was going to be for the rehearsal or something, but it ended up actually being the performance. But it was like later that night. I was supposed to have a rehearsal, but I still had like time to kill. So I was just like walking around, and one of the kids, she laughed, like she was laughing. And it just so happened to be like as I was walking past. And so I walked over and I'm like, like, oh, what's so funny? And she's like, she said you sounded like a country singer. And now it was Captain Nicole and Major Bobby's niece who said that who gave me the compliment. And I'm just like that. I've never been told that before, so I'm gonna just take that as a compliment. But
Depends on who you're being compared to.
Yeah, but like I saw the pictures posted and everything, and the one in question is the one of me dressed up.
Mm-hmm.
I had on like a white t-shirt, blue plaid shirt, my gray pants, and my hat that I had on backwards.
Oh, great.
So I looked at the picture and I'm like, yeah, it's definitely giving me country artist vibes. And I'm like, okay.
Great.
And then like the next day, she's like the same girl, forgot her name already, but she was trying to figure out like where I was from. She's naming like all of the southern states, and I'm like, I'm not even from the South, man. I'm from Maryland, like. But it was just being told that I'm like, that okay, that's a compliment. Oh no. Another funny moment was everybody witnessed this because it happened during the session at Busch Gardens. So
no.
I was in the praise team. It was a praise team. I was in the brass band, and I'm on timpani. Okay, on timpani. I'm sitting there, and there was a part where it's supposed to be a cymbal roll, but the cymbal stand kept falling. So you're hearing like roll, stop, roll, stop, roll, stop.
Supposed
like
to happen
4 times. No, like 4 times. Not supposed to happen at all.
Oh.
And so I'm thinking like, okay, I'm probably like ahead or something. But then like I look over and I see the two boys picking up this, like fixing the stand, and I'm just like dying laughing. I had to like turn my face, and I was looking at like, I don't know who I was looking at, but I just turned my head to the side, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. But we're just going
to. What about you, Des? Any funny moments you want to share from the weekend?
Oh crap!
Circumcision.
I mean, no, that was more disturbing. Okay. I'd rather just forget that.
I won't let you, but keep go on.
I guess there was when Tommy kept playing that retro video game music, and we were all laughing.
Oh, he was doing the Mario music. I didn't think to that.
And then I was dying laughing when we were getting ready to walk out of the thingy to go to Busch Gardens. Whoever it was that was standing on top of the ladder, getting ready to take the picture, I was kind of, I was just like, please don't fall, please don't fall, please don't fall.
Yeah, that's my boss.
Yeah, that's Dustin's boss.
The great old Captain Dennis.
Yeah, Mr. Brisket himself.
I'm sorry, that smokehouse brisket was a lot better than his.
Oof. Yep, Caleb, we're gonna have to say goodbye to Dustin. It's
Yeah.
been nice.
Just knowing you, dude.
See you in heaven.
That's the other thing. Like, I don't think they planned out the picture that well, because
no,
you had that banner there.
Yeah, there was too much sunlight.
Yeah, but like you had the banner.
Oh.
You had the banner, and like people were hiding behind it. I get like what they were trying to do. Like they were trying to get like the logo like in the picture, like the sign in the picture, but like at the same time, it's just like you got people hiding behind it, and like everybody's clumped up, and it just wasn't all that great.
I really didn't understand why they didn't just take it at Busch Gardens, to be honest.
Yeah.
It would have been too impossible logistically.
Yeah.
We had like 400 young adults and teens and leaders there. It would have been very difficult to plan something like that out.
Yeah. So I do want to say, I know this has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but it is a very important thing I want to bring up from the weekend. Also, when Major Bobby came up and was praying with me on the last day, that just really touched my heart. Yeah, look, I thought last year's youth councils was going to be my last one. Because of everything that was going on at the time, I thought it was going to be my last one. I thought I was going to have to leave the Salvation Army and wasn't going to be part of it anymore and was going to have to go somewhere else. So being back, I'm not normally a very expressive person emotionally. You can ask Des. I'm really just not, especially in front of a lot of people. But there were a couple of times I almost broke down because of just how it felt just being back with everybody, the people that I missed. I missed Major Bobby and Captain Nicole. I missed Colonel Hofford and his wife. I missed, Lieutenant Willis. I missed all of them.
You missed me.
To be fair, I was going to see you regardless. But yes, I did miss you and Dustin and Angel, and, I was happy to spend time with everybody. And that just meant so much to me. So I was really glad that last year was not my last year at youth councils, and I don't think this year will be either.
Hold on. I just thought of this. This just came to my mind. Why didn't we do like shorts over the weekend or something?
We were going to, but then time just
everything just happened.
This whole weekend felt kind of rushed from our perspective, at least.
Yeah.
The sessions did feel a little rushed, but any other time during the day, it just went by slow.
Not for us.
Yeah, for me.
I don't know. There wasn't really any time to really catch your breath.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we definitely could have done one at Busch Gardens or something.
Yeah,
we could have just taken the time. The four of us could have the Ford and other people John could have brought Peyton or something. We all could have just met up somewhere, got food together as a team and just hung out, talked, and did some shorts or something. But I don't know. Maybe next year.
Hopefully
maybe next year.
We're going to TIY this year.
TYI.
Y'all have fun with that. Y'all have absolute fun with that because y'all are gonna be hot. Okay.
You're in Florida.
Hot.
Dude.
Y'all are going to Keystone. Y'all are going to Florida.
Oh, yay. That's where I got COVID. Fun.
That's where I almost got killed by a thunderstorm.
John.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a very long video, and I honestly hope that you took something out of this. Just hope that you understand that there is an importance in coming together as a body of believers. There is such great power in that. I know that in the book of Acts, it talks about the church meeting up or church councils meeting. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very important to come together as a body of believers, especially in this time where wokeism is entering into our society and it's changing the way we believe, changing the way we think, and changing the way we act. And it's very important for us to come together on a united front to fight together in the same battles, to win the war, to win souls for Christ, and to be his ambassadors to this world.
Amen. So walk the radical middle.
All right! Walk the radical middle.
Wow.
Have a great day, guys, and God bless you.
Stay unbounded.
Oh, yeah, stay unbound.
One.
All right, we're recording.
Which way are we spinning it? Which way are we spinning it?
The way I was going.
Go!